Blake Lively was spotted this weekend in her happy place, which apparently is also when she grabs her co-stars without permission.
Nuts. And you really went for it, too.
That's always awkward. You're like, hey, hi, nice to meet you. Can I grab your nut?
Have you ever caught someone right in the middle of a scandal, only to watch them grin for the cameras like nothing happened? That's exactly what's going on with Blake Lively right now. One day, she's swamped in legal battles and trauma claims. The next, she's gleefully baking pastries in Connecticut. So if you want the full scoop on how a nut-grabbing anecdote, a questionable muffin kit, and a rumored emotional affair turned Blake Lively's world upside down, stick around. And by the way, if you enjoy getting the unfiltered truth about Hollywood's biggest names, make sure to subscribe. You won't want to miss a single update on this unraveling story. Let's start with the moment that kicked the rumor mill into overdrive. On March 30th, Blake Lively showed up at a cozy bakery in Connecticut, all smiles and Instagram ready. She posed with donuts, she joked around with the staff, and she even declared it her happy place. Now, on the surface, that sounds innocent enough. Who doesn't love a good pastry run? But here's the twist. Around the same time, Blake's legal documents were making the rounds, filled with claims of debilitating anxiety, crippling fear, and overwhelming grief. The official word was that she could barely bring herself to leave the house. So how does that version of Blake jibe with the bubbly woman charming everyone at a random donut shop? To critics, this bakery cameo isn't just innocent fun. It's a deliberate PR move designed to paint Blake as carefree and relatable, even as she insists in court filings that she's too traumatized to step outside. It's a glaring contradiction. We're talking about someone who claims to be fearful of public scrutiny, yet still stages a cameo that screams, "Look at me!" And let's be real, in Hollywood, optics are everything. If you say you're devastated and unable to function, then suddenly pop up in full glam having a grand time with sugary treats, people start asking questions. Of course, nobody's saying you can't bake away your stress or find solace in a kitchen, but the timing of it all, the cameras, the orchestrated social media posts, makes it feel like we're watching a carefully directed scene. The real question is, what else might she be sugarcoating? As it turns out, there's more to the story than a suspiciously cheerful bakery visit. Cue the infamous Henry Golding commentary track. While promoting their film A Simple Favor, Blake casually revealed in the director's commentary that she grabbed Henry's privates during filming. Yes, literally grabbed him in a very personal area. She tells the story with a laugh as if it's some quirky blooper, while Henry's face during the clip looks somewhere between shock and politeness.
Right.
Wait, so am I blaming my husband for
Am I saying he killed her?
This is one of my favorite additions that you came up with. I think it's nuts. And you really went for it, too.
That's always awkward. You're like, hey, hi, nice to meet you. Can I grab your nut?
Imagine the outcry if a male actor proudly described grabbing a female co-star's body like that. We'd have think pieces, cancellations, and endless social media storms. Yet, for some reason, Blake's revelation flew under the radar for a while, dismissed as playful humor. It makes you wonder, how does she get a free pass on something that would ruin someone else's career?
I want dividends.
Yeah, I don't think he's kidding. He deserves dividends, and Henry Golding's face says it all. Between the nut grab and the literal product placement for husbands cheat on this thing, it's all so ridiculous.
Now, Blake Lively is often seen as a feminist icon, a mother of four who champions female empowerment, but telling a story about a literal nut grab with a cavalier attitude seems to clash with that brand. Even more awkward is Henry Golding's clear discomfort. He's trying to laugh it off, but you can almost see him silently weighing how to respond. Does he call her out? Does he laugh along so it doesn't turn into a PR disaster? No matter how you slice it, this anecdote highlights a glaring double standard, and as we're about to see, it's not an isolated incident. Blake has a pattern of crossing lines, then painting herself as the victim whenever it suits her. If that sounds contradictory, that's because it is. And it's exactly why the skepticism around her trauma claims has only grown louder. Speaking of contradictions, let's talk about Justin Baldoni. The whispers around town say Blake Lively got emotionally entangled with him during the filming of It Ends With Us. We're not just talking about method acting or flirty banter. Insiders claim she invited Justin, who was also married, into her penthouse, introduced him to her infant child, and shared moments that were far more intimate than your average co-star meet and greet. Then, out of nowhere, Blake allegedly slapped him with accusations of inappropriate behavior. If you ask certain commentators, Candace Owens among them, this is textbook hypocrisy. How can you laugh off grabbing one male co-star's body, then claim another made you feel uncomfortable for a mere comment on your self-tanner? One theory is that Blake enjoys pushing boundaries in private, then weaponizing victim status in public for PR advantage. Owens even accuses her of selective victimhood, toggling between aggressor and damsel in distress.
Blake Lively has nothing to do with what is happening. Her husband has come undone. Blake Lively developed some feelings for Justin Baldoni.
Now, is Candace Owens an unbiased source? Hardly. But her points have struck a chord with fans who see a pattern. When Blake's in control, she's bold and brash, like bragging about the Henry Golding incident. But when there's a chance to win sympathy or gain leverage, she leans on legal accusations and heartbreak narratives. The biggest irony? If Blake found Henry's discomfort to be comedic, then why does she suddenly have zero tolerance for Justin Baldoni's apparently mild remarks? The double standard leaves people questioning how genuine her claims are, and whether her legal trauma is less about justice and more about controlling the narrative around her crumbling public image. But the controversies don't stop with co-star drama. Blake Lively has a long history of questionable decisions that are resurfacing just when she least wants them to. For starters, remember the Black History Month muffin kits she marketed a few years ago? In a move that baffled fans, she tried to sell extravagant muffin-making kits that supposedly celebrated African-American history, complete with a syrupy, romanticized nod to slavery-era nostalgia. The internet collectively did a double take. Was this a sincere tribute or a tone-deaf marketing stunt?
The irony of all this is so strange, given that, she's the one who made the weird Black History slavery muffins for $168 back in 2015. She's also the one who made the boob cake. She is a very inappropriate baker.
Then there's the boob cake. Blake once baked a breast-shaped cake for her 1-year-old daughter. Sure, people can argue it was a playful joke, but a not-yet-verbal toddler doesn't exactly request a boob-shaped dessert, right? Critics felt it was bizarrely adult-themed for a child's birthday party, fueling the impression that Blake sometimes goes for shock value disguised as whimsy. When you stack these controversies, muffin kits that trivialize Black history and boob cakes for toddlers, next to her claims of feeling perpetually victimized, you start seeing a pattern. Whenever she's accused of poor judgment, there's a cute or quirky attempt to brush it all off. Whenever she's on the losing end of a situation, she pivots to a sorrowful or outraged stance, as if she's the one who's always being wrong. Add in the Cozy Donut Shop cameo, and it's hard not to suspect that Blake's happy place moments often serve to distract from the negative headlines that keep piling up. The problem is, the more people dig, the more they find, creating a cycle of new controversies overshadowing old ones until everything collides in one giant PR firestorm. Of course, you can't discuss Blake Lively without mentioning her husband, Ryan Reynolds. For years, they've been hailed as Hollywood's most charming couple. The playful tweets, the adorable kids, the witty red carpet banter. But if behind-the-scenes rumors hold any truth, Ryan might be just as mired in this chaos as Blake. Word on the street says that when Ryan heard about Blake's alleged emotional affair with Justin Baldoni, he didn't just get mad, he went nuclear. According to insiders, Ryan threatened to burn down everything if these rumors tarnished his squeaky clean brand. Instead of calmly sorting things out, he reportedly moved to gag anyone who might expose the affair, allegedly pushing for a smear campaign against Baldoni in respected. Why the extreme reaction? Ryan's entire persona is built around being the perfect, family-loving guy. His social media presence is a masterclass in comedic PR, always painting him as the affable husband and doting father. If the public discovered cracks in that image, it could compromise not only his marriage, but also his multi-million-dollar endorsements, his business ventures, and his box office appeal. Some call this behavior litigation abuse, suggesting he uses the legal system to exact revenge or control the narrative. If true, it's a stark contrast to the lovable figure who trades jokes with Hugh Jackman online. It begs the question, how much of Ryan Reynolds' public persona is an act? Could he be a calculating, controlling figure behind the scenes? Then again, maybe he's just a hurt spouse reacting poorly to what feels like betrayal. Real human emotions can be messy, but whichever angle you take, the meltdown reveals a massive disconnect between the sweet, comedic Ryan of social media and the furious, lawsuit-wielding spouse of these leaked insider accounts. Now that we've picked apart Blake and Ryan's individual controversies, let's take a step back and see the bigger picture. For years, they've been Hollywood's golden couple. Good looks, adorable kids, charitable gestures, and that seemingly endless reserve of witty banter. But these recent scandals suggest that the perfect facade might be more rehearsed than real. Some people have gone so far as to claim Blake might be Ryan's beard, implying that the marriage is a strategic arrangement rather than a love match. Whether you buy that rumor or not, it's clear that something deeper is going on beneath their carefully curated social media posts. Ryan raves about how Hugh Jackman is the person he can be emotionally vulnerable with, yet rarely speaks about Blake in those glowing, heartfelt terms. Blake, for her part, bounces between brand-friendly domestic goddess and boundary-pushing rebel who brags about crossing lines with co-stars. What we're left with is a marriage that looks increasingly like a PR partnership. When the Henry Golding nut grab or the Justin Baldoni accusations erupt, it chips away at the storybook image they've both sold to the public. When Ryan allegedly goes scorched earth with lawsuit threats, it doesn't exactly scream loving, supportive husband. And when Blake claims to be paralyzed by anxiety one minute, then dances through a bakery the next, it sparks more disbelief than empathy. So, why does any of this matter? Because it shows how meticulously Hollywood can orchestrate a persona and how quickly it can unravel. If two of the most likable stars in the business might be spinning half-truths, what else are we missing in the glitzy world of entertainment? This entire saga is a cautionary tale for anyone who assumes that celebrity relationships, especially the ones plastered all over social media, are exactly what they appear to be. By now you've heard about the suspicious donut runs, the Henry Golding grab, the alleged penthouse visits with Justin Baldoni, and the bizarre muffin kits that left us all scratching our heads. When you piece these parts together, you don't just see a couple in crisis. You see a meticulously packaged Hollywood brand that might be built on shaky foundations. Blake Lively has long cultivated an image of polished elegance mixed with down-to-earth quirkiness. Ryan Reynolds has branded himself as the witty family man who can do no wrong. But behind those cheerful social media posts and carefully posed magazine covers, there appear to be lawsuits, allegations, and emotional upheavals that don't align with the rosy narrative. The real question is whether they can patch these cracks before the public stops buying the story. Will Blake's next PR-friendly appearance smooth over these controversies? Can Ryan keep balancing jokes on Twitter while reportedly waging legal battles in private? Or is this entire fiasco a ticking time bomb that will drag both of their reputations into chaos? Nobody can say for sure, but one thing is clear: the more they try to control the narrative, the more it seems to slip through their fingers. In a town where image is everything, revelations like these can be career-defining or career-destroying. So keep your eyes peeled, because if history tells us anything, this roller coaster is far from over. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the tangled web of Blake Lively's controversies and Ryan Reynolds' reported meltdown. If you have any theories of your own, like maybe Ryan's biggest romance is actually with Hugh Jackman, let me know in the comments. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because in the world of Hollywood illusions, there's always another twist lurking just around the corner.